extremely connected to nature. It's the most important part of my life. I have gotten into digging Herkimer diamonds, and it's become a huge part of my life, of digging them, finding them, and just realizing that God's given these to me. And then being able to share with other people.
Very good.
My question is, we are in a claim that I don't know if I need to stay in, or do I need to move to another place? It's working on me.
All right, very good. So you are in a place where you are doing something that you love, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. And in that process, you've sort of expanded your exploration, correct?
Yes,
And in that process, you've also found that in expanding your exploration, you sort of run into resistance, correct?
yes,
All right. And this resistance is sort of inviting you to make a choice. All right?
yeah.
All right. So in the making of this choice, we like for you to begin to focus a little bit on that part that is without resistance, all right? That part of you that brings you the most joy when you are doing it. So when you are in this state of exploration, of digging into the earth, of finding these precious stones, what is the most exciting part for you?
Finding them, just picking it out of the ground and holding it.
All right? And so in this process of having to make a choice, in which you have to leave this one particular place, what is it that you stand to lose?
Finding them, there it is.
All right, so is it something that you can expand in another direction, or are you fully tied to this particular place? Or are you more connected to the experience of exploring? Are you more connected to this particular place?
I would say the place only because we have found so many great pieces.
All right, and do you trust that what it is that you are doing is, and the energy that is expanded from there is so much more powerful than this dissonance?
I guess that's where my question really is.
Do you find that in this state of resistance, of this sort of problem that you are facing, that you are becoming less focused in the aspect of exploration, and you are becoming more focused in sort of hanging on to something?
Yeah, I guess hanging on.
All right.
Yeah,
And how does that make you feel when you are hanging on?
I want to move.
All right. So, oftentimes when you are on a path and you are finding something that you are really enjoying, things happen in this physical reality that sort of seem to come in the way. And what happens is sort of shift your focus from what it is that you have always enjoyed into this other thing. All right? And so in the shifting of that focus, that sort of dissonance grows, all right? And that resolution that you are looking for seems to be further and further away. So what we are wanting you to focus on is more on the process, the parts of the process that you enjoy, all right? Because that's where the least resistance is. And as you focus more and more on that, find ways in which you can do that more and more. And if you find that it is not something that you can do in this particular place, then you can sort of begin to notice maybe it is okay to let it go. But if you are finding that you are experiencing greater joy in the sort of holding on of this, then you can focus on that. But chances are that you are not. That you are finding so much more joy in the exploration of the earth, the exploration of the stones. All right? So begin to practice your focus on what it is that you are enjoying the most. All right? Now, sometimes what happens with humans is you begin to sort of enjoy the fight, because the fight triggers something within you that you've been practicing for so long. And it's this state of resistance, all right? So many humans are sort of so practiced in this state of resistance that they begin to look for it everywhere, even in places where there's something that they are enjoying so much, all right? So take some time in the next few days, this evening, the next few days, to sort of focus exactly on the parts of the process that you enjoy the most and nothing else. And make this sort of choice from a place of what feels best when you are in that state of flow. And anything that doesn't fit into it is not part of the decision, or it is something that you must let go, all right?
Thank you.
Very good.
Hello. My question to you, Charlie, is,
Well, Charlie's asleep right now,
Oh.
but
well, what do you go by then?
we are 7.
7, okay. My question to you is, will Christianity ever accept that Jesus did not die on the cross?
All right, so when it comes to your beliefs, you humans, you tend to hang on to them very, very strongly, all right?
Yeah, I don't hang on to it. I know he didn't. I just
All right.
asking you, will Christianity
So-
ever accept that as a whole? Because they don't want nothing to do with it, the truth.
So as free beings, you always have a choice, all right? And that is the choice to believe anything that you want to, all right? You can make truth anything that you really want, but real truth will always excel. The thing, though, with any beliefs is that you cannot force any belief onto anyone, all right? And any sort of organized belief has a structure that is there, not just sort of to carry the truth, but to also, in a way, carry a story, all right? And if you change the elements of the story, it can be very confusing, and the sort of gist of the message gets lost, all right? However, we'd like to shift this a little bit because sometimes humans say, well, if only this aspect of the story changed, then everything would change. But any belief system that came forth and was sort of organized into a religion, even though in many ways it can seem strange and restricting, it was there to sort of carry a greater message, all right? And the most important aspect is to sort of discover what this message is, and if this message is truly aligned with well-being and with spirit, all right? So, will humans make or shift their beliefs? Well, this is all up to you. This is what it means to be a free being, all right? And so, we can look into the looking glass and tell you what the future will be, but we would not be correct. Not because we would not be correct, but because we trust that as humans align more and more with the message of truth, all the rest of it will fall apart, all right? And the core of what really matters will reveal itself.
Very good, thank you.
All right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Much appreciated.
Okay.
Thank you.
We are very patient because we've got all of time ahead of us. Maybe not you humans, so
Listen, talking about time, is there a way to fast track personal insight of humans to knowing empirically that they are one source?
yes, it is being in the present moment. Because in the present moment, the concept of time dissolves, all right? And it is in the present moment that you can transform the past, all right, and redefine the future, all right? Now, this can be tricky because humans will say, well, how I'm present right now, I'm here right now, how do I do it? And we say it's not about doing it. It is about appreciating who you are, where you are. That's one of the first steps, all right? Nature is a good way of teaching you about being present. And the rest of it is the experience of it. Meditation in many ways was a way shared with humans to plug into the present moment, all right? Because to truly enter into a meditative state, you must shut off that inner noise, all right? And it can be a lot of work to shut off that inner noise. And then you practice breathing, all right? So breath is the way in which spirit enters the physical body. And breath is the way in which spirit leaves the physical body, all right? You have noticed this in physical life when someone crosses over, right? They took the last breath. What is that? Spirit is saying, okay, bye-bye. I had a good time. It's time to move on. And so if you'd like to explore more of this timeless experience, it is about breathing consciously in the moment. It is about being in a state of appreciation. And it is in that state that you begin to sort of access these open portals within you, and you begin to download all this information. It is truly a deep state of relaxation. See, sometimes humans will ask Charlie, so how do you get ready to sort of share these messages? And she says, well, it's very simple, I just relax. Because she noticed if she ever tried to do anything, she sort of got in the way. But whenever she relaxed, there was a sense of flow, because that relaxation was all about being in the moment. Not trying to control, not trying to receive, not trying to transmit, not trying anything. Just simply being. So breathe and be, and you'll begin to receive. Do not judge what you receive. In the beginning, do not even attempt to record what it is. The more and more that you practice being in that state, you'll start to have those aha moments and say, aha. And please do not attempt to think, all right? Because so much of what humans believe of thinking is just inner turmoil, inner noise, inner criticisms. Same thing with listening. Those are very rare. See, when humans truly think and when they truly listen, incredible things are discovered. Incredible truths come through, you see.
My question is directly for the masses, for collective, because I know as an individual it's taking me a lot of dedication to get rid of the noise and to get to this center of peace.
Very good.
And my question mainly is, I'm sure, of course there's hope, but is it a very big undertaking to have a collective movement into peace?
It seems very big because there are so many humans on this planet and they all have their own ideas about reality. Isn't it frustrating? But when you begin to notice that what you are doing counts more than you believe that it does, that's incredibly powerful, all right? Then the masses are taken care of. But when you begin to say that, oh, I'm doing it but them, all right? When you begin to let go of that and say, you know what? I'm doing it and that counts, all right? That's truly, truly powerful. Because it is more important to have a handful of humans that are truly aligned than a bunch of humans that are wanting alignment and looking around and saying, well, what about them? And they keep themselves from alignment because they are looking around and saying, but them, they're not in alignment. But the moment that you're sort of in it and saying, you know what, I'm doing my part. And if me doing my part is sort of allowing others to explore more, very good. I will be a messenger for that. I will be a sort of portal for them to walk through and into. All right? So one of you brought up Jesus Christ. He was a symbol of this portal. All right? He sort of lived by example. So many of your spiritual masters have lived in this way, and though they have shared the message with all humans, they expected all humans to awaken because they had awakened, and they knew that when one awakened, all awaken, all right?
Leading by example.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Very good. All right.
Okay, I feel a lot of resonance with what you're saying. And I think what I've been trying to feel my way through this conversation ever since I made the decision to come here, which was just a little bit earlier today. And I
Good decision.
yes. And I think that it might have to do with some fine tuning with my vibration. I'm in a place where I really love clarity. And I love when there's fun, and I love to play with the cooperative components. And that feels so good to me. And I get into those states, and it's really wonderful. And then sometimes I feel like maybe my external is not matching with the internal fun that I want to have. And it's not necessarily a painful place to be. But for example, today I decided to go get some food. I missed my turn to the restaurant. I thought, okay, let's go to another one. Maybe there's something fun for me there. I went there. Lunch was okay. They were playing kind of sad music. I got a little bummed out, you know, and I was like, well, why did I have to go here? Then I went home, you know, so it just kind of was like this, what I wanted to be an adventure, and it ended up just kind of being like, I don't really know what that was.
All right, well, it sounds like an adventure to us.
Okay.
Because an adventure, it's about the peaks and the valleys, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what happens with so many humans, and we noticed this with Charlie as well. You find this good place, you receive the message, and you say, ooh, I'm feeling so frisky.
Mm-hmm.
This is so good. And then you open the door, and then, oh no, it's humid. Oh, there's a mosquito. Oh, my mother's calling, all right? And so when we come forward to share these messages with you, why we speak to you about that inner aspect is because oftentimes you find this good place and you sort of look out there for signals and you say, I have no synchronicities today, I must not be on my path, all right? But it is not about that, all right? Because see, the beings who have sort of arrived at a very spiritual, sort of what you call spiritual place in their experience, they arrived there not because of the ease of the physical circumstances, but the ease that they found within. And whenever they were sort of coming into contact with physical circumstances and it was something that was not matching their inner world, they weren't judging it, all right? Because in that judgment, you create separation, all right? So if you were to walk through this day again, and let's say you were to truly being in alignment, you'd walk and miss the turn and say, oh, this is fun, I wonder where this is going to lead me. And you walk in and you hear the music and you say, oh, wow, it is a bit dramatic, isn't it? And when you are not in resistance to it, even that music can reveal things to you. Maybe it opens up something that you have been wanting to know. Maybe it simply makes you laugh because you realize, oh my goodness, I'm feeling so good, and look at this sappy music, all right? So what we want to say is that when you are truly in alignment, there's no buts. The buts become part of the experience because the fun in the experience oftentimes is not so much this destination of, you know, it's all good, good, good. It's about noticing those moments of resistance and sort of playing with them, all right? That's when the real fun comes in, all right? Because, see, humans sometimes will say, you know, I'd like to quit my job and go somewhere, and they do that and they say, I'm bored. I'd like some kind of contrast and resistance into my experience, all right? And then that contrast and resistance comes in, and when they are in a state of flow, they flow through it, all right? And it heightens the experience. But what happens is as you are practicing this state of vibration, there's still within you a wanting of control, of wanting to control the outer environment, all right? And that's why, you know, we were mentioning about children, that they are good teachers because they have a mind of their own, and they will do whatever they can to make sure that their needs are met as they should be. And so parents will become frustrated and they want to control the child. They will say, oh no, you can't cry right now. Oh no, you can't go over there. All right, and this sense of control becomes part of your physical experience, all right? You say, you are bothering me right now. You need to change. Change that music and I'm gonna feel better, all right? But how about feeling better with that music playing? All right, we'll give you another example, and this is quite powerful because, and it is a bit dark, all right? So beware, because sometimes humans, they'll, you know, we'll speak about these things and they'll say, well, that's a bit dark, all right? Darkness is also part of experience. So recently, Charlie went on a trip, all right? And it turned out to be a very strange experience, and it was not going as she expected, not at all. As a matter of fact, she was mistaken for a spy. We understand, it sounds very surreal, but things like this do happen in other parts of the world. And so it was starting to become very, very dark, the reality around her, where her physical freedom felt threatened. And so she was able to navigate through it. But she noticed something at this place where she was visiting. There was an instance where one of the journalists was captured and thrown into prison simply for reporting the news. And so in the news, she watched as this young woman stood in this prison. It was not a very nice prison at all, and just smiled with her shoulders back. And what she witnessed was not a woman in prison, but a free woman, because she was not allowing the circumstances to dictate how she felt. And she thought, aha, she gets it. She really gets it. And this is very big because so many humans, especially when you are sort of living in the comforts of the physical world, you become a little bit lazy, all right? And we mean this, we do not mean this physically. You can work very hard, but we mean this internally, all right? And so the smallest thing ticks you off. But when you truly become masters, when you really get into this state of flow, everything around you becomes a part of the adventure. And you sort of stand there smiling with your shoulders thrown back and you say, well, this is interesting, isn't it? All right. So next time that you are finding you enter a place and it is not meeting your sort of criteria for feeling good, notice if you can make that internal adjustment. Instead of saying but, say and. How can I expand this adventure today? All right? Because sometimes the greatest joy comes from working through these moments, of feeling yourself, feeling good in these moments. All right? Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Very good.
Determined not to hit the chords. This is strange because I don't really have a question, but I've been pushing myself to do things out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to be the first to come up here without a question,
Very
but
good.
just I'm an identical twin, so I don't know if identical twins have anything that you might want to share about, you know, and how that aligns. But it's interesting. God, I know my heart's been beating ever since I've been in here.
Oh, this
really,
is
really
very
hard.
fun.
I know, and I'm like,
Very
what
good.
is going on? You're doing the sound bath, and I was like, what is going on? Somebody over there said that they were like spinning in one room, and I'm like, this is it. I'm on a ride. Sorry, I'm the entertainment. at this point,
Very
I think,
good.
yes.
We very much enjoy when we are brought into conversations that we've never had before.
That would be me.
So-
Okay, I'm done.
All right, so very good. So you brought something up that we were sharing a message with Charlie about, and it wasn't so much about the identical twins, but it was very much about bringing forth of new life. All right, and the process of creation. All right, because you experience this process of creation when you come forth into this physical reality, all right? You are created through a process of the energies of the feminine and masculine, meaning we do not mean this as if a man or woman, but just meaning the feminine and masculine forces of the universe coming together to create. And in that creation, when creation is brought forth, there is a deep, deep sense of transformation that happens in the whole of the cosmos, all right? So this might seem strange to humans who say, well, it's just another baby born. And it's in the same way that we were saying that when a human sort of lives in a state of light, they are becoming so much more powerful, all right? So when creation comes forth and it multiplies itself, it is like life wanting more, all right? Where there's a great desire for more. And so when a seed is implanted and it takes root and it creates more of itself, it's saying, this is very good, we want more of it, all right? And so when it happens in a physical body, it is very much, there is very much a sense of unity in it, all right? There's very much a sense of a one spirit wanting to experience itself through two physical lives, all right? So it is wanting a greater sense of expansion. All right. Now, when you are in this process of sharing this physical experience, all right, with this other being that you've shared this physical experience with from the very beginning, there is a deep, deep sense of connection. And there's sort of a doubling up of this spiritual experience. And sometimes when humans plug into this, there is a very fun and unique experience. So if you are finding yourself, maybe you have already experienced this, maybe not consciously, that there is a sort of there is a sense of greater awareness of your spirit self reflected through the other being. All right?
Well, she's a little bit wound tight. I don't know if I see anything in her that I am carrying.
All right, very good. So then you know
gonna say, I think I got it all.
So you exactly illustrated our point, because we always say that everything and anything around you, including the cosmos, is a reflection of you, all right? And sometimes you'll have connections with others very close to you, and you'll say they're not really getting it, but I am, all right? But everyone that you share anything with, that you have so much more in common with them. So there might be a deeper connection that is awaiting you, but there is a sense of resistance because of this deep closeness that is sort of keeping you two apart. All right? So, tell us a little bit more about this.
Well, it's a bit of a riff, actually.
All right.
My twin sister and I. She's not real self-aware, and I'm kind of really open. I kind of feel like the people that are for my higher good stay in my life as I evolve and I continue to find myself and what is best for my soul. And then the people that have not been good for it have fallen away. You know, I'm recently separated, as well as my twin sister. You know, we've kind of, you know, separated a little bit. Even when we see each other, it's kind of like I'm somewhere different than where she is, and I kind of see the falseness or the facade or the mask that she wears in order to protect herself, but she doesn't really know she's actually hurting herself as well as trying to connect with other people.
All right, very good. So, in this connection, do you find that there is some sense of a little bit of judgment that you have about where she is?
I have felt like I did judge her a bit for the way she is acting, and you kind of spoke to it earlier as well. Like sometimes we tend to, all of a sudden we're starting to evolve and we're feeling good, and all of a sudden we immediately start looking at somebody else instead of just welcoming, you know, that goodness. And so that was a good message that resonated with me as well.
All right, so how much time do you spend sort of, because see, one of the things that happens as you begin to expand your awareness and you sort of see where you have been and where you are, there is a deeper sense of compassion that you have for those around you. Because one thing that happens as humans begin to shift vibrationally, all right, as you say, from 3D to 5D, or just from a state of greater awareness, your compassion grows because you start to understand that everyone is doing their best where they are, all right? And if they knew any better, they do better. So how much time do you spend sort of in this state of accepting where your twin sister is versus judging where she is?
I think I kind of balance it. She was really abusive verbally growing up. I was always the one that had to rescue her, and if it was always my fault, whatever decision she made poorly, it was always my fault. So there's probably some forgiveness that needs to be taking place in that aspect on my end, just because I do understand she's just isn't there yet.
All right, so here's the point about forgiveness. When you begin to truly get on this path and you sort of do the paying attention within, right? You sort of notice the moments where you have been imperfect, and you notice how all the humans around you were doing what they knew best. You realize that there's nothing to forgive anymore, all right? Because forgiveness comes from a place of saying, I'm a little bit better than you, so I will forgive you, all right? So we always sort of recommend forgiveness when you are still a little bit of kind of fighting a little bit with yourself as well, all right? Because when you truly sort of enter that place, there's no more forgiveness, because you truly see someone for who they really are, and you notice that they are doing because that's what they know best, all right? So here's the prescription that we'll sort of share with you. As you are going through this path of inner expansion and inner awareness, and there is that tendency to look out. There is a sense of comparison, because that's how you sort of know, like, oh, I'm doing a little bit better, all right? And there is a new sense of identity that grows from there. So in that, every time that you are sort of gaining a new sense of awareness yourself, take a few moments to practice a sense of acceptance for one aspect of your sister that you are maybe fighting about, all right? Now, we're not asking you to sort of be a doormat and to accept anything, but simply that from a distance, you can sort of share with her this awareness that you are gaining. It's like energy that you are sort of gathering about and clearing up in your own body. Imagine that you are sharing this with her, and do not expect anything in return, but trust that when her time has come and she's ready, she'll be willing to receive. All right? And do not punish yourself for the times that you do judge her or you want to maybe strangle her. That's all right. That's all right. And you can forgive yourself and her for now, until you get to a place where you'll realize there's no more forgiveness needed. Not because you've given it all away, but because there's no more need for it. Because she is where she needs to be for her journey. Because in many ways you are sort of different aspects of the spirit evolving, all right? Because evolution is not all pretty, all right? It's not all about the light. Evolution is very much about experiencing the dark. Because there is so much unknowingness to be explored in the dark. And it's when you experience even the most enjoyment out of just really bringing about light. All right? Sometimes when humans have experienced a lot of pain and they begin to heal, there's so much relief there. All right? And that expansion is many times more magnified. All right?
I guess I had a question. Thank you.
Very good.
I appreciate it.
Hello. So I have a question about something that has affected all of us, but we can't seem to agree. So my question would be, what is the truth about the coronavirus and what was its purpose?
All right.
Its purpose?
All right, very good. So it is not anything new to experience collective, or what you might consider this experience a sort of traumatic experience, all right? For some, it was the experience of being faced with the force of nature. For some, it was the experience of being faced with the force of humans, all right? Whenever something like this is manifested into physical reality, it is like a big bell going off and saying, pay attention, all right? And so humans have paid attention, but the way in which and what they paid attention to has really truly depended on their sort of consciousness awareness, all right? And we've spoken to you this evening about freedom, all right, and how you are free beings. And sometimes humans are aware of this and they practice this. But oftentimes they are not aware of this and they're sort of feeling in a prison within. And then this prison manifests without. So for humans that sort of felt imprisoned within when this experience came about, they experienced even more imprisonment, all right? But the good thing about experiencing more of anything is that any kind of resistance, any kind of contrast, it's calling you to discover what it is that you really want, all right? And for many humans, they realize that they want more freedom, all right? That they want more well-being, that they want more awareness. Now, sometimes humans come to us and they say, you know what, this coronavirus is not really about the coronavirus, it's about all this control that is being put forth on us. So what do we do about that? Who do we vote for? And from our perspective, any kind of collective experience that exposes, brings together, and awakens a new awareness is exactly what humans have been calling forth for, all right? Now, it might not seem like it, all right? And Charlie has had this sort of, she's felt conflicted because she said, you know what? Somebody created this because they want to control us, all right? And when we came forth and shared with her that because you are free beings and you are constantly co-creating reality, what has come about is not there to punish you, is not there to enslave you. It is there to invite you to a next level of experience. But it is up to you. It is up to you to truly discover what that is, all right? Now, so many humans, they love to sort of tell others what it is about. Oh, it's about this, or it's about that. But the truth is that this experience has been something that humanity has been calling forth to serve as a stepping stone to enter this new space of awareness. Now, not everybody has answered the call. Some have sort of taken a few steps back, all right? And they found others to play with them in that space. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for those who have sort of found the true meaning, and they have found the invitation to expand to a next level of awareness, they're sort of getting on with it, and they are seeing it, and they are experiencing it.
Thank you.
Very good. See, humans, it is not truly humans, it's a part of consciousness that happens with many beings that have a certain level of awareness, which is sort of assigning meaning to everything, all right? And it's a fine line between truly feeling the meaning and knowing what the meaning really is versus assigning meaning because the ego needs to know what it is for, all right? Sometimes humans get in trouble because they sort of understand that they are creating and co-creating reality. And when certain things come about to be in their physical world, they'll say, I created that? Oh no. Or those people created that if they could change. But sometimes things that you create and bring about, even though they might not seem good to you, Source does not judge them as good or bad. It is simply sharing with you what you have been calling for. And sometimes to awaken what you call forth is not a fun experience. Sometimes it is something that shakes you up from the inside. All right.
So my question is about gods. So the gods that we have had throughout history, there's the Egyptian gods and Greek mythology and everything that we have had. Are those actual creatures? Are those actual beings that have manifested themselves? Or is it a figment of our imagination that we have created?
All right, very good. Well, you could say anything and everything is a figment of your imagination. This very reality is a figment of your imagination, all right? But the truth is that there are many layers to existence, all right? There is source energy that has brought forth all physical manifestations, all right? But it has not brought everything forth just for fun. It is because thought manifests into vibration, and then it manifests into matter. And through physical manifestation, there is different forces that have come about on this planet and beyond that have influenced the nature of what you consider the modern human. All right? And in attempting to understand who these beings are and what these beings are and how they work, you've sort of assigned identities to them. All right? Now, it does not mean that these beings did not exist. For everything exists. Everything that is thought takes thought form. It might not take a form in the physical reality that you are living in, but it will take form somehow. And when you begin to tap into the multiple layers of existence, and you sort of begin to let go of the constrictions of time, you start to notice that these beings exist in consciousness, all right? That they are very much alive right now. And when you begin to shift between these different levels of consciousness, sometimes you meet them. Sometimes you see them, all right? They are very much alive and still sort of existing and guiding and inviting anyone who is open and aware to explore. Sometimes humans come to us and they say, you know, I took a trip once and I saw this being and it looked exactly like this other being that I saw that is a part of this culture. What did I see? And what it is that you are seeing and you are witnessing is consciousness manifested. Now, there's also the aspect of the beings that have influenced you and your biology and your consciousness and your DNA. And these beings had forms that were very much different than the physical form that you are experiencing. And in that, they were assigned the identity of a god. You could say in many ways, when you reach a certain level of inner consciousness expansion, you sort of become one of these forms. Any time that you let go of your identity that you have now, the names that you have now, and you step into a state of pure appreciation, you enter in this space of the inner God. There is a symbolic representation of your physical reality that allows you to understand things that your conscious mind cannot understand. See, for us to speak with you, we must use human words. So in many ways, we are limited with what we can share with you, which is why we invite you to have experiences, inner guided experiences. And in this spaces, you'll begin to notice beings that you might have heard about in books or from others. Because you are all sharing part in the greater consciousness where anything and everything exists.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, we will take a moment to breathe and give you some room to stretch, all right?